There. Okay, going live. Come on. There, we're live. Okay. So this is the Best of Investing radio show. I'm your host, Edward Brown. This is for CMCM TV, and we're going to start the show in just a minute here. All right. So, and the other thing is no swearing. The FCC doesn't like that, and neither does television. Okay.
I've never said anything.
I had an attorney drop an F-bomb on my national sports show last year, and I had to look at the clock really quickly and tell the studio, hey, when you get to the 3:22 mark, cross off the F-bomb.
That's funny.
One time I missed an S-bomb. No.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Guys talking sports, you know how it goes. And attorneys, they're the worst.
Right.
Okay.
Talking Warriors.
Yeah, we talked a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't drop it on that. He was an attorney talking
Gotcha.
smack about something. Very aggressive guy. Okay, are we ready? Let's do this. Here we go. Okay. In fact, I'll turn it over to you to introduce her.
Okay.
But you know,
He's good. This guy's so good. I was just like, I just do whatever he says.
For the end, or
no, we'll start off with you because
Yeah, start out. Yeah.
I need like 5 seconds of silence because the studio has to put everything together. We're just commercials. So okay, like this. Here we go. Well, welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Nam Phan of Pacific Private Money. Mark Hanf is off today, and Patty Cohn of Compass Realty. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Use that number to answer the trivia questions for a 5-pack tanning certificate given away during this show. That certificate is not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. Today's trivia theme is, yet again, various trivia. Now, this guest we have is a little different than our average guest.
Yeah.
And Patty, since you invited her, we're going to let you introduce her.
Absolutely. Well, a little bit different, but so fascinating and so powerful in the work that she does. So Kathleen Russell started the Center for Judicial Excellence 13 years ago and has been operating on a shoestring budget and has literally been saving lives and changing laws throughout the country. And she's based in Marin, and I met her recently, and I am completely impressed with the work that they're doing. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that would like to help, to hear about it, and to really just learn about the topic.
Okay. So Kathleen, welcome to The Best of Investing.
thank you, Edward.
Okay.
Thank you, Patty.
And thank you, Nam.
And Nam, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So tell us actually, what does the Center for Judicial Excellence, what do they do?
Yeah, the Center for Judicial Excellence is a social justice nonprofit organization, and we work to protect children in the court system, and particularly through changing laws, as Patty mentioned, public policy work, and working with the news media, because you cannot fix a problem until the public knows that there's a problem to be fixed. And so for 13 years, we have been working with journalists to get the word out about the problems, particularly in the family court system, where we focus a lot of our effort, but we also work with the issue of judicial accountability in general. And a lot of people, they call me all the time when it's election time saying, oh, there's judges on the ballot. Who should I vote for? People know very little about the court system. And so
it reminds me of the hearing of human trafficking.
Yeah.
Nobody ever really heard of that per se.
Right.
And then suddenly when the public sort of hears about it, then suddenly they jump on board and get something done.
And we all think it's not going on in this country.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you give an example of how, something that is identified as an issue, how bringing it to what that process looks like, going through, journalists and bringing attention to it, then what happens? How does that?
Sure, I can give you a really recent example, because we knew that there's a system in California to file a complaint against a judge if you feel that you've been treated in an unethical manner. And this agency was created in 1960, the Commission on Judicial Performance. Most people in the state don't even know it exists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of people have filed complaints about judges berating them and treating them badly. And this agency in 61 years was never audited by anybody. It was sort of operating in the dark. And so we started talking to state legislators and saying, this is an agency that has a very important function. I mean, judges are deciding a lot of important issues, whether you're a criminal trying to stay free or go to jail, whether you're in divorce court and you're fighting for the custody of your child, or you're a domestic violence survivor trying to stay safe. And we convinced lawmakers to pass an audit, and it took 3 years, and we just got the report from the state auditor showing that this agency is not adequately investigating these complaints. One judge was threatening to assault a litigant from the bench in the courtroom, and that wasn't properly investigated. It's just one example of the types of things that really shouldn't be going on in the courts. And so that was something we just learned about this agency, realized it wasn't doing its job, talked to the right people, got the right person whose job it is to investigate to do this. And now there's a hearing in a couple of weeks, and I just today was invited to be on a panel as a part of that hearing.
And how do you get your funding? I mean, who funds
your
organization?
We are all privately funded through generous individuals in the community. This started as a conversation in a San Rafael living room from just concerned citizens who are hearing about these problematic cases where someone goes in fleeing domestic violence. We spend a lot of dollars telling women they should just leave their abuser, and they do, and then they end up losing custody to the abuser, and it's happening nationwide.
Well, the first thing I'm thinking of from a quick judge in the public is, I think his name is Persky.
Yes,
the one,
Aaron Persky in Santa Clara County.
Yeah, the one who let the swimmer go after the rape, and it just seemed like, what?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of person who kind of judged that.
And that his whole debacle that unfolded in the media, that helped give fuel to this audit request that was happening at exactly the same time.
Yeah, because you kind of figure, who's watching the judges.
Exactly.
Right? And then probably, the people who were, this, like you said, before getting this audit, it's like, probably an old boys club type of thing. I can just imagine
exactly.
that.
Yep, that's what it is.
So is your goal in that situation to audit that judge, or to create a vehicle for judges to be audited?
Well, they audited the agency, and our goal is to make sure the agency was created to protect the public. It was very clear that this is here. We want to protect the public from judicial misconduct. And so what came out of this audit is some very clear recommendations on how this agency needs to be fixed.
Okay, yeah, it kind of reminds me of in the old days, in fact, I'm sure it's still happening, where the CPAs who audit big firms, someone has to oversee them because, hey, here's an extra 20 million, make these numbers disappear. And, sure, why not? Yeah. All right, here's our first trivia question. Kathleen, I forgot to mention before the show, if you know the answer, don't say anything until after we come back from break. We don't want to ruin it from the audience. Okay. According to business studies, what is the most productive day of the work week? And I'll tell you, it's somewhere between Sunday and Saturday. Okay.
Sunday.
Don't answer yet? Okay. All right. Call 888-912-1190. If you're the first caller with the correct answer, you're going to win that tanning certificate. Again, here's the question. According to business studies, what is the most productive day of the work week? And stay with us. You're listening to The Best of Investing. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back.
So I'm guessing Tuesday.
It is.
Right?
Tuesday.
I've read articles about it. Yeah. It's Tuesday.
Sometimes we ask easy ones, sometimes we ask hard ones.
So I want to ask Kathleen, some examples. She's helped literally many
we definitely want
tens
to
of
hear
thousands
stories,
of people,
examples.
but one or two examples of how unjust it is and what happened.
I would also want to know, just from the standpoint of somebody who has a passion for something and starts nonprofit, how much of your time is spent fundraising versus what you were, what your actual intent is. Right. So that'd be interesting for people who are out there.
Yeah, and she's literally, there's that. Then there's the administration of running it. Yeah. Then there's the judicial part of it. But then a lot of it is the human on the phone, coaching people. People are in tears. People lost their child, died. There's
we're tracking
the human
element.
And what authority has been given to you, too? Versus just getting it out there in the public. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I mean, you don't have the power to, let's say, arrest judges.
Sure, no. We're just raising awareness. But we got something passed by Congress, the House of Reps last fall.
Do you believe that? Yeah.
That's great.
Shoestring budget. This one. This one over here.
That's so great.
Yeah,
It's sort of like the taxpayers union in a way. Where all these taxes, it just raise taxes and it just goes away. And someone came up with an organization that said, well, let's actually kind of look at where the money's going.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. We just got to vote and
Yeah.
trust that it's all going to be fine.
Because remember, Marin never met a tax she didn't like.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and everybody thinks Marin's perfect, right?
Yeah.
That's why.
It was perfect 50 years ago.
Yeah.
We grew up here. Oh, you
It
grew
was
up here
perfect
too.
before.
Did you?
I didn't.
No?
I thought you did. I forgot.
No,
Ohio,
I'm
yeah,
from
yeah.
Ohio.
I was just gonna say it was perfect before humans came along.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
They ruin everything. They're the worst.
Except the Indians.
Yes,
Did you grow up here now?
I did for the most
Where?
part. I moved here when I was 5.
Yeah, yeah.
I moved here when I was 2.
Yeah.
Of course, where'd the Indians come from? They'd come from, or the Native Americans had to come from somewhere too.
That's
They
true.
didn't come spring out from the ground, right?
Well, I think they're from here. Just like
But someone had to come here. I
We
mean,
were
we're all,
from
if you
Europe.
kind of go, either
Yeah.
Europe or
We all-
Africa or something, and then
Yeah.
everybody migrated.
Yeah, Siberian, whatever.
And
that
they got to
Bering
say,
Strait.
we're here first, so
Yeah.
we get it all.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
and besides,
How'd
Indians,
that work
they
out?
might
But
be
they're from
from
America.
here. Yeah.
well, again,
Yeah.
everyone had to come from
Somewhere.
some.
No, they're from here. I mean, I worked with the Alaska Native people for like 20 years. They're from there.
From Alaska?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
I mean,
native,
continental drifts and stuff like that.
yeah,
Whatever,
but the native people are from the native
From
land.
there.
Like they've been there for millennia. Yeah.
So what happened when Native Americans fought Native Americans? It used to be the Navajo, and suddenly the Cherokee come in. I'm just picking
Yeah.
names, right? Cherokee come in, they decimate them, and now we all go, oh, okay, the Cherokee, they're the natives. Well, maybe they weren't. Maybe they beat up some other Indian tribes, right?
It's just like,
Like it happens all over the
yeah,
world.
just like Israel and Palestine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you guys ready?
All right.
Yep.
All right.
That's
Having fun so far? Look at how
Yeah,
fast it
yes.
goes.
The
All right.
blast.
That was a big
Okay.
segment right there.
This is an 8-minute and 40-second segment. Ready? Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen and Nam Phan, and our special guest, Kathleen Russell. First trivia question was, according to business studies, what is the most productive day of the work week? 1, 2, 3, everyone.
Tuesday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday. For me, it's Thursday.
I think it ends in
It's
Y.
business. Yeah,
I
it's
start my weeks on Wednesday though, so that would make sense.
right here, Tuesday. Okay, the answer was Tuesday. Very good. All right. Patty, did you want to ask Kathleen a
Well,
question?
You
Or
know,
give
I'm
us her
fascinated
stories?
because
Yeah.
she's doing all this judicial stuff and then running an organization, then fundraising. But a lot of the time is taken up with people
Mhm.
whose child just got killed or,
Yeah.
heart-wrenching stuff. And I know there's like tens of thousands of people that you've worked with over the years and counseled them and saved their lives proactively. So do you have any examples of things like that?
Sure. I don't know if I've met people whose lives I've saved. Unfortunately, we often hear of the people whose, after the fact, who kids have been murdered by a divorcing or separating parent. So Ana Estevez, who's an incredible mother who went through this, she went to court begging for protection for her son, and they blew her off and told her to go away. And 8 days later, he was murdered by his father after his dad took him to Disneyland, and it was just horrible. And
Was she fearful that he was going to kill the son
Yeah.
just to get back at her?
yeah,
That's sort of like the
Mhm.
Joy Luck
Yes.
Club. That's what
yeah,
happened.
and that
Yeah.
happens with narcissists. They have no conscience, and so
Yeah.
they use the children as a pawn. And our organization has been tracking child homicides by a divorcing parent precisely because nobody's tracking these motives, and we have to, as a society, give more resources to people at this very vulnerable time in their lives, and you have to be able to quantify what's happening. And we have almost 700 children in the last 11 years in the U.S. who divorcing or separating parent murdered the children, often in an act of revenge toward the other
Amazing.
parent.
And your jurisdiction is?
Nationwide.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Our data is nationwide. We worked with the House of Representatives last fall and got the first ever resolution passed saying that family courts need to protect children above all else. It seems silly that we would need
Exactly. I was
such a
just
thing,
going to say
but,
that. Yeah.
but that is the reality. So
Like pets have more rights than children.
Yeah,
That's
Uh,
crazy.
true.
So you mentioned narcissists. Is that a really prevalent condition
Yes,
in that?
yes. You see, most people who go through divorce, they can put the best interests of their kids in the forefront.
Yeah.
We deal with the people who can't come to an agreement, and those are the cases where you often have someone who's got a personality disorder,
Mhm.
or they're a domestic violence felon, and they're going to use the court system to keep harming their ex-spouse.
Which is probably
for
one
leaving
of the
them.
reasons why they went to got divorced from that person
Right.
anyway. But then you
Yes,
kinda
and
look
yet
at-
the courts act like the
Yeah.
majority of people there are just good parents.
Well,
Yeah.
and then what frustrates me at least as much are the
Mhm.
attorneys who
That's
represent
right.
those bad people too. It's like you
Yes.
throw money at them and they'll do anything.
Well, and there's financial incentive
Yeah.
to keep these couples fighting and in conflict.
Yeah.
And a lot of
It's-
times it's
yeah.
not a fair fight. It's not
Mhm.
an equal playing field. In family law, you don't even have a right to an attorney. So you can have
Wow.
your ex with the best attorney money can buy, and you've got none. And you can imagine which way the judge is
Well, and
going
then
to rule.
accusations. I mean, on
Right.
both sides, not
Yes.
just women, but men too. You know, the same
Sure,
thing.
we
It's-
work
it's-
for, on children's rights and don't
Okay, so
take
is
sides.
it primarily just the children?
We work for children, yeah,
Okay,
and
yeah, protecting
obviously
children, yeah.
we're concerned about anybody who's suffering from domestic violence
Yeah,
or
yeah,
abuse,
sure.
and sometimes it's men and
Yeah.
sometimes it's women, but yeah,
And in that example, it wasn't just, oh, well, she asked the judge to help
Yeah.
and this happened to happen.
Mhm.
No, the judge ordered that the child be back in that home.
Right.
And that's a huge distinction.
So-
That's the kind of stuff.
And what? I'm sorry for no. It's going to kind of finish up on that. What was the judge's reasoning? I mean, do they?
well, it's junk science and it's happening in criminal court too, but there's this bogus theory that anytime a child abuse is raised in the context of divorce, it's been fabricated, or a parent has coached a child to
Oh
my
lie about
gosh.
it. So you see it with USA Gymnastics, with Penn
Yeah,
State,
right.
with
Sure.
the Catholic Church.
And
They're all
it
these
happens once, and so
institutions.
maybe once it did,
cover
twice or
it
whatever, and then
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what legislation
All right.
can you affect that would, allow in a scenario like that to be proactive to say, you know what, this child shouldn't go with this parent? I mean, can you?
Well, they have what's called supervised visits, and that was created for parents who are dealing with drug addiction or have DUIs or aren't safe to be with the kids unsupervised. And so that system should be used whenever someone's been arrested for domestic violence, or that's what it's set up for. It's every child should have the right to speak or visit with the parent, even if they're dangerous. But what the system has done is it's treating the 95% of cases that really are true abuse as
Right.
if they're lies, and the other 5%, they flipped it on its head.
Wow.
So
Pendulum swung the other
really
way.
safe, loving parents are getting forced to pay child support to their abuser, and then they're forced to pay to go visit their children under supervision because they are trying to limit access when in fact they're really just trying to protect their kids.
Sure.
The kids are in harm's way. So we got a lot of work to do to raise awareness and get the judges better educated about violence, because a lot of these family law judges don't know very much about it.
Wow. Yeah. And again, like you said, it's not just one way. I mean, because sometimes it'll be the woman in the case who is the abuser,
Exactly.
and yet sometimes the courts will be overly, myopic
Yeah.
in how they view.
I would
Although
wanna-
it's typically the women who
Typically.
are the victims.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typically, sure.
I mean, it would be great if there's a way you could identify somebody who's narcissistic or has propensity to do something really harmful.
Yeah,
to
well,
say
there
that.
are tests and psychological tests
Yeah.
get ordered and things, but a lot of times if you don't have a lawyer and your ex does, then the judge will just not even allow certain evidence in if it's not favorable to the client who has an attorney.
I mean, whatever happened to judges thinking about what's best for the child first?
I know, that's
I
what
just-
that's what the law says, that the best interests of the
Yeah.
children are what they should be focusing on.
And that's what I'm wondering.
And
if,
you
if-
can talk to hundreds of people in Marin, Sonoma, Alameda County, and they'll all say the best interest is the last thing that seemed to be on the mind of the judge or the people
Yeah, I
involved
mean,
in the case.
you hear studies about how if you can have a child be with both parents, obviously
That's
it's
the
best.
ideal.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, I mean, if you've got a dangerous person, at least if it's supervised
Right.
visits, then the
Right.
child still gets to see dad, but
Yeah.
maybe in a different terrible.
Dangerous
And then there's a
places.
cottage industry of counselors that are
Right.
trying to stay
Yeah.
Yes,
And by the way, we have to
Yeah.
get to another break, but Kathleen, if people are interested in this topic, how would they get a hold of you?
we have a website, centerforjudicialexcellence.org, and we're also very active on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, and
Okay.
we have a Bay Area phone number too.
All right, well, stick around. We're going to talk about some other topics too, but
Mhm.
very interesting stuff. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, second trivia question. We know how much Patty loves sports, so this is a sports question. Which pitcher lent his name to ulnar collateral ligament reconstruction?
Oh, I know.
Wow, no, all right. God, you fooled me there. All right, call 888-912-1190. Be the first caller with the correct answer. You're going to win that tanning certificate. Which pitcher lent his name to ulnar collateral ligament reconstruction? That's our trivia question, all right?
That's so obscure.
And don't forget to check out Transcendence Theater. They have some great shows coming up.
Where?
In Jack London State Park.
Wow.
Yeah, and some other ones too. Check them out. All right, don't touch that dial. The best of the best. We'll be right back.
I'm writing it down. Friends, what theater?
Transcendence Theater.
Sentence.
I mean, they're like Broadway show type. Like they're doing a chorus line.
Can I ask Kathleen one more question when we
Sure.
get back? Okay, it'll be about the, pursuing something like this. It's very entrepreneurial, so I
Yeah.
think some of our listeners
Yeah,
would be
thank
interested as
you.
well. Yeah.
I actually
But,
launched my own PR firm for 16 years before I did this.
Oh, okay. So you knew
So
how
I'm
to.
a little entrepreneur. Like I
Yeah.
was in the for-profit,
Mhm.
PR, and then I moved
And
into
it's a
business.
501c3.
Do you know Linda Zanitas?
Hmm?
Do you know Linda Zanitas? She's a PR person. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I have an acquaintance who is dealing with,
Uh-huh.
sharing the children in court and
Oh,
forced,
I feel for her.
what
Yeah.
was it called?
Visitation.
Forced visitation or
Reunification.
reunification.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the
We just-
counselors said, "Oh, you have to do horse therapy."
Oh, no.
And
I
they
know-
own
I
the
know-
horse therapy.
I know who this is. It's a very bad place.
Yeah. So
What county is the case?
Sonoma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Rebecca Bailey. We just had an hour on KQED on this topic.
Really?
That's
Yeah,
all right.
it's
It
on
just
our
sounded-
homepage.
it just-
You should send your friend to my homepage.
He's dead
Oh.
He got a heart attack.
at age 48.
Yeah.
This was the father.
Yep.
Mhm.
And what
Yeah.
the mom?
The mom was, she's,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's one of our colleagues. So
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Sorry.
he would tell the stories all the time, and it's like, whose
Yeah.
interests?
I know.
Right,
Who's
this is
looking
all
at
about
this
the people.
Yeah.
So the mother was
So angry.
what happened to the kid?
And in this case, I think he's got custody because she was the
Oh,
lunatic.
stop.
Sometimes it's the opposite, but
Right,
you know.
sure.
Yeah.
The grandparents stepped in, his parents, and they're the
The
wonderful,
great- yeah, the one-
incredible people. But
Wow.
Okay.
so it's,
Right. I forgot. I got a couple of quick mentions here too. So, all right.
so it's not TV. Okay. Anyway, I'll ask later.
Yeah, you asked. Did you want to ask your question?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, and then we'll move on to other things. Okay, here we go. Well, welcome back to the Best of Investing. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen, Nam Vaughn, and our special guest, Kathleen Russell. Second trivia question was, which pitcher lent his name to ulnar collateral ligament reconstruction?
Tommy John.
Very good. That's
Hey.
Tommy John surgery. Very good. I knew you'd know that one. All right, I want to make a quick mention here for the Mount View Hotel. They're celebrating 100 years of memories. Historical landmark that opened in 1919. It's one of Calistoga's most iconic places to stay. I don't know if you ever visited there. They got this inviting pool with uniquely decorated rooms. Fantastic place. Check them out, www.mountviewhotel.com. Nam, before we go on to real estate, you wanted to ask Kathleen a question.
Yeah, I think what you're doing is fantastic, and I just want to pivot to another aspect of that, which is just starting up something like this is very entrepreneurial. And you're starting something like this as you're essentially starting a business. So it's like you're the restaurant owner where you're the chef, the host, the bartender, everything. Fundraising being a big part, obviously, of a nonprofit. I mean, how do you split your time between all of the things that it takes to launch something like this and make sure it's successful?
Thank you. Yeah, it is a bit like entrepreneurial. I had started a PR firm and for 16 years was doing that, and this project or this social justice issue, I guess, knocked on my door about 4 years into my PR firm. And so we decided to start a nonprofit. Initially, it was a project of my PR firm. I thought this should be on 60 Minutes. Why doesn't everyone in America know about this problem? And then we created a board, and nothing happens in a vacuum or just by one person.
Sure.
And so I've got a wonderful board of directors, which Patty just recently joined, and I'm thrilled about. And we spend a lot of time fundraising, mostly individual donors, because foundations and others often like to fund big organizations that have like capacity and lots of money already. And so we've done tremendous work on a shoestring. And I spend time doing house parties, trying to raise, and by the way, we're very successful with individual people in the Bay Area and beyond. People, as soon as they hear about this,
hear about it, or if you've experienced it,
right? Everybody, unless you know somebody, and more people are knowing someone who's going through this. So.
Well, and all the stuff that you read in the paper is now, it's not behind the scenes anymore. So now there is at least some awareness. I heard about that case and that case.
Right, and social media, we do a lot on social media.
Well, again, thanks for joining us. Stick around. Hey, Nom, we're going to jump right over to you. Some shows, this is a listener writing in for an email here. On some shows, I've heard you say that you lend up to 70% loan to value. However, on other shows, I heard, you didn't write that badly. I'm just reading it that badly. I heard you say that you can lend up to 100% for like a purchase. What do you mean by that?
So what we mean is normally somebody who comes to us,
and who's us?
Pacific Private
There
Money.
You go.
So I'm Nom Fon with Pacific Private Money. We're private lenders based in Marin County. So you're right. On some shows we talk about lending up to 70%, and others scenarios we've mentioned, we've provided 100% of the purchase money. Yep. And in those scenarios where we're providing 100% of the purchase money, we're usually bringing in equity from another property. Something we talk about on the show a lot, which is cross-collateralization, where somebody has a home to sell and they also want to purchase. Well, if they have a lot of equity in the home that they're selling, departing residents, what we do is we take that and combine it with any down payments and calculate it against the value of the property. It's all kind of numbers, etc. But what that means is if there's enough equity in total in the property that they're selling, oftentimes that can translate into enough equity to make a loan at 100% of the purchase price.
Okay, and banks generally can't think outside the box too much on that. So
right, just the idea of using what's called cross-collateralization is not something banks do.
Gotcha.
So that's better example. Just give us a call if you have a scenario where you have a home to sell and you want to purchase as well, and we can explain it in more detail.
How do people get a hold of you?
They get a hold of us by calling 415-883-2150 or going to www.pacificprivatemoney.com.
Okay. Now I know you have a deal of the week. I'm going to share mine first.
Yes.
I actually just happened today. I get a call from someone who says this woman inherits a house free and clear from her deceased parents. All right. She's married, but the home is in her name alone. No problem. It's worth $600,000. It's in the East Bay. And I checked out the value in Zillow, which okay, they're sometimes they're accurate. They say it's worth $650. So 600, that seems fair. It's like 2,000 square feet, 4-bedroom. It's not a fantastic neighborhood, and that's why it's only worth $600, $300 a foot. Okay, but it's decent. So apparently, her son came down with some severe medical issues, and so she ran through her savings. And started to get behind in her bills. Now, again, her house was free and clear, right? So then her credit got down to like the mid 500s because she ran through all the savings and again, still needed more money for all these hospital bills. So she still needed more money for medical bills. So she actually had to go to a hard money lender for $125,000. Actually, excuse me, she only went to the loan that she owes to the hard money lender, not Pacific Private Money, $125,000. You know how much they charged her? 15.99%.
Oh my gosh.
Again, because her credit's really bad theoretically because of the non-payment of the bills, right? And unfortunately, her child still died. I know, which is terrible. And now that loan has come due. And so the request comes in for 150,000, basically pay off the 125, and the other 25 will pay, back real estate taxes and clear up some of these credit cards and stuff like that.
Right.
And then, and so the quote is at 9% instead of 15.99%. It's going to be fully amortized over 30 years because it's a consumer loan.
Mm-hmm.
And after she gets her credit scores up, she'll refinance conventionally. So in a situation, I mean, there's no bank that's going to lend her based on her credit,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
500s. She makes good income. She's been in her job for a really long time. When she retires soon, she'll have a very nice pension.
Mm.
She can easily qualify for a $150,000 loan. That's a $600,000 house. That's a 25% loan to value.
Yep.
So it's kind of a no-brainer. Again, that's why the banks can't do it.
Right.
And
And you bring up a good point because that original hard money loan that she got, that's true. What's kind of
That's predatory.
yeah, that is.
that
And
is, yeah.
and
I don't even know how they
these
made
days,
it legally.
Yeah, the industry's changed so
Yeah.
much. There's so much more transparency. So anyone getting that kind of a rate should really do a little bit of research, like
Yeah.
a Google search.
But again,
because-
she was so emotional with her son, and then now, she's not going to have the medical bills anymore because he passed on.
right.
So at least from a lending standpoint, you don't have to worry. The new lender won't have to worry about all these extra bills.
Right.
Hey, we're going to cut to another commercial break here. What bird lays the largest eggs? What bird lays the largest, and it's not a hummingbird? All right, call 888-912-1190. Answer that question correctly, you win that Danny certificate if you're the first caller. Don't touch that dial. Best Investing will be right back.
See how fast this goes? Fast
Thanks for
as
narrowing it down.
Yeah. Now it's a one bird down, 10 million to go.
Well, is an ostrich
Ostrich,
considered a
I was
bird?
gonna say
Yeah.
ostrich.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to Patty and
Yeah.
and real estate.
Absolutely.
Going on.
So again, if you want
What
to
is
listen to
going on?
this when it comes on the radio
Uh-huh.
at noon,
Right,
on
noon on Saturday,
Saturday,
June 1st,
June 1st, on the
Mhm.
dial KDOW 1220.
12:20 a.m.
They have a website if you like you're driving in the car. Well, actually, if you're driving in the car, you can listen on the radio. If you're like just with your phone, you can
Pull up
Pull up the-
KDOW, right?
do something like that. Yeah.
12:20
Yeah.
KDOW.
That was the second.
We're on Chip Franklin does a live read for us too.
Yeah.
On KGO,
Oh, wow.
When did he start doing that?
like 2 weeks ago.
Have you started getting calls?
Yeah, we've had like 3 calls.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's we're on the big radio station now. 810, I consider that one of the main
That's-
ones.
oh, yeah.
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 Chips, I think, got a really big following too.
And you said 12 noon and then the next, wait,
And
airs
then
twice?
it'll also air on the Sunday, the 2nd at 7 a.m.
Gotcha.
And I
Right
can
early.
email you the link
Oh,
because we
great.
host it on our website too
Okay,
afterwards.
great.
Did you send the link
You
to
can put it on,
Roger?
the Facebook.
Did you see that?
Gainer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
On your
Yeah, I thought so.
website.
sure.
That's
When
For
did
some
he-
reason didn't. I sent you an email saying that
Even though-
if you could send that
That's
to him.
not bad.
When did you send that? Because
I sent it earlier today.
oh, today.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, Roger Gainer. Put that on my
Great.
calendar.
100 gainer. Okay.
TGIF. No.
I know, and I'm gone next week. So last week I was gone because Sarah graduated from Tulane.
Yay.
And then we're taking her to Hawaii for a graduation.
Oh,
present, so she's really happy
nice.
with that.
Yay.
All right, you guys ready?
Mhm.
Here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing one more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen, Nom Fawn, and our special guest, Kathleen Russell. Third trivia question, what bird lays the largest eggs?
Ostrich.
Ostrich, very good. In fact, I went to Safari West a couple of weeks ago, and boy, those ostriches are big and ugly.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see their feet? They got the weird feet. Yeah,
That's right.
scary.
And in fine dining across the Bay Area, you can order hors
Ostrich,
d'oeuvres
yeah.
with ostrich eggs, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. What's
Tiny,
the-
tiny yolk.
Really?
Yes.
Is that right? Huh.
Yes.
Interesting.
I think Poggio in Sausalito has it. I
Oh, sorry?
remember
Let's
something.
try that.
All right, Patty, what's going on in real estate?
Real estate's awesome, always.
Hmm.
So I'm Patty Cohn with Compass Real Estate in Marin County, 415-722-4842.
There you go. Get that out first.
Yes, and in anticipation of IPOs, We're already seeing some activity, mostly in San Mateo and San Francisco County,
Mhm.
in the upper end. So, like say over 3 million. And no question about it. We said this a lot of times. So from 2012 until maybe last year, 18, the market just rose dramatically. We are in a flat zone and will probably continue to be that for 5 to 7 years. Gentle wave.
So not a declining is what.
It's hard to say, but like with interest rates, I mean, who knows what Trump's going to do? Trade, all that stuff, stock market, bonds.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, good economy, best job market around, 7 huge IPOs.
Yeah.
Right.
And not the nicest place in the world to live.
Well,
Right.
so that brings me to an email that we received for you that says, it seems like things are slowing down a bit in real estate, in the real estate market. Would I still need to put an offer with no contingencies, or what about an all-cash offer? What kind of advice would you give?
Yeah, well, it depends on the property, depends on the price range, it depends on the location, and it depends on how it's priced. So no question about it, I am still seeing over and over a multitude of well-priced properties prepared correctly go over asking. So really, really important to buyers to work with an agent that knows what they're doing, that can really get the dirt from the other agent, like how many offers do we have, really, is this priced correctly, are there a lot of flaws that I'm going to have to overlook in the property, like a cracked foundation, just to get this house.
But at what point are is the selling agent not supposed to disclose certain information?
It's full disclosure. Like you really, as a listing agent, the seller's agent, you have to disclose everything that is known.
No, but yeah. But I'm talking about like
the buyer's agent.
Well, yeah, the buyer's agent's going to say, hey, okay, how many real offers do you have, and what's the highest offer? I mean, there's certain things they're not allowed to. To say.
But you know what? We have to believe that the seller's agent is giving us correct information in terms of how many offers.
Okay.
But everybody puffs. Let's just be honest. So, I'm expecting 4 offers. How many do you have in your hand?
Yeah.
And then if the offers are due at 4 o'clock, like at 3:59, how many do you have in your hand? But and then at the same time, the other side of the coin is we're still seeing properties sit on the market for a long time. We're seeing a lot of price reductions. We're seeing.
There's one down the street from me that's been, I think it's been a year now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a simple thing like price. I mean,
it's got to be. Yeah.
Assume it's priced at $2 million, right? Would it sell at $3 million? Why no? Would it sell at $1 million? Absolutely. Like Edward and I are going to buy it together.
That's right. Yeah.
Right now.
That's right.
So
I'll put in $1, you put in the rest. Okay.
Exactly. So it really just depends. And is it a market that it just depends on a lot of things, but it's important.
Are you seeing Southern Marin pop because of like the tech IPOs? Because San Francisco has a number of companies that are going public, right?
Yeah.
A number of tech companies, at least that have offices or branches there. So I have to imagine Southern Marin, that's going to be the next easiest commute outside of living in the city.
Yeah.
So, and upper end, I can imagine that if you're going to see any effect from the IPOs, it would be in Southern Marin.
Yeah,
so.
Particularly Sausalito.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a world-class place to live. So,
sure.
Second, third home is a $5 million property. But so it's all still in anticipation of it. Mm-hmm. So what's showing up so far in 2019, and this is really early, is mostly in San Francisco and San Mateo. Right. But it absolutely makes sense that the next bastion would be Tiburon, Sausalito.
Yeah. Well, usually after an IPO, employees can't exercise for several months or a couple of quarters.
Section 144 stock.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I also anticipate people, like what's happening now is people going, you know what, where am I going to put my money? I'll buy a $3 million house and I'll bet on that and sell it in 3 years and have it double perhaps.
Right.
So they might not be employees or stock, beneficiaries.
Oh, right.
They might just be people looking at the trends and going, let's buy a house.
Yeah.
Rent it for a while, live in it, whatever.
Yeah. At least you have a hard asset.
Yeah.
Right. Real estate.
A hard asset. No.
Hard asset. Real estate. Nom, do you have a different deal of the week?
A different deal of the it was actually when you started talking about it, it sounded really similar. This was somebody who was actually a widow with kids and had run up because the breadwinner
Yeah.
had passed away, so had run up some debt and
Yeah.
needed private money to pay off or to be able to purchase. But they had a lot of equity in a property that they lived in, but I think they were downsizing or pulling the equity out to do a couple things. One was to pay off some of the debt, and the other part was to be able to use it towards the purchase. So again, Pacific Private Money provided a bridge loan where we provided the financing using collateral in the departing residence, but it was also enough for her to be able to pay off debt. And it came to us from a mortgage broker. So, and the reason I bring that up is because the exit out of our loan is that mortgage broker's conventional financing.
Well, you guys are so morally good. You're a 501c3 organization. How do people donate to you? No, I'm just kidding. No, but they can invest with you, though.
Yes, they can invest with us in the Pacific Private Money Fund. So loans like that are loans that we put in our mortgage pool fund. It's a debt fund. It's currently at $50 million. A healthy number of those loans we put in the Pacific Private Money Fund are these types of bridge loans that pay off very quickly, where we're charging borrowers in the 9s, very short term money. Investors are earning 7.5%, and it's paid monthly, or you can reinvest your earnings. And the way to invest is to contact us, 415-883-2150, or go to our website, which is www.pacificprivatemoney.com. We also have an event.
I was just going to say, I know there's an event coming up.
Yes, June 19th in Fremont at the Fremont Marriott. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. And if you go to our events page on our website, you'll be able to go on and register for the event. So
how many
we're up to 25 people so far. So yeah, typically a comfortable number is about 40 or so, because we want good interaction and we want people to be able to participate.
Sure.
Yeah. How long is the event and what's the format? How many people do you think will be there?
Yeah, so probably we'll end up with about 30 people, 35 people. The format really is to talk about why people borrow money.
Exactly.
And got to cut to a commercial?
Unfortunately, we had to cut out on this one too. I don't have a trivia question, but when we come back, we are going to have some closing comments. So stay with us. You're listening to The Best of Investing.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Flying through.
I just have one more quick segment. And then we have 15 minutes on here.
On you?
Gosh, it would be really sad if I didn't, and I might speak not.
Well, I can get Patty maybe how to reach you.
Yes, are you parked downstairs in the Bank of America lot?
Yeah.
I'll run down and get it.
Yeah. And Pacific Private Money. I have my money there too.
Me too.
Yeah, we do.
All of us.
Easy money. I mean, there's nothing you get in it easy. You can get out easy. You do nothing except get the returns.
It's like a mutual fund, except that instead of stocks and bonds, it's these different kind of loans.
So you'd be surprised some of the bridge loans that are coming across our desk in the last 10 days.
Really?
Yeah. $3 million bridge loan, $1.5 million bridge loan.
Wow,
so these
loans.
are all a lot of opportunistic borrowers. So Southern Marin, San Francisco.
Yeah. The
Sophia's,
values are there. Oh yeah, Sophia. Yeah.
Yeah, she's bringing a lot. She got crazy.
Good. Okay, so what do you want to cover on there? Oh, you have that really interesting article.
Oh yeah, on the Southern
Yeah.
California housing. Yeah, it's kind of contrary to. No, it's good. Actually, there's another headline right after it that it contradicts this article. So anyway, it's fun to bring it up.
It's kind of fun. All right. Here we go. Well, welcome back to The Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen of Compass Realty, Nam Phan of Pacific Private Money, and Kathleen Russell of Center for Judicial Excellence, our special guest. Nam, you had a couple of interesting articles.
Yeah, this comes from Southern California, the Orange County Registrar. It says Southern California builders swamped with unsold homes cut construction to 3-year low. So, in some markets we see flat. We see other areas that are picking up a little bit. Bottom line, though, is real estate's very much a local phenomenon in terms of prices. So the volume of unsold finished homes is up 22% in a year as construction is slashed by 18%. But what this article goes on to do is break down where some of this inventory is sitting. And no surprise, like the Inland Empire is where a lot of the inventory is sitting. And that's usually the areas where you start seeing the softening the most are kind of the outskirts of the major metro area.
Yes.
The kind of last area of commute where
Fresno, or I mean, they're a little
or
further down
for-
south.
yeah, for Southern California, it's the Inland Empire, San Bernardino County, Riverside, Bakersfield, definitely.
Yeah.
I'd say. Actually, you know what? There's another article which I'll bring up some other time where it's millennials are really drawn to Bakersfield because of
I
affordability.
heard that.
Yeah.
Boy.
So
It's
it's Barstow
they're all
probably,
moving
but
No, but it's growing a lot
Yeah.
Is that
because
right?
it's
Yeah.
affordable. Yeah.
Right.
So Bakersfield's the new San Francisco. No.
No,
Probably not.
No, but I said,
Not
where do
yet.
they commute to?
I know, exactly.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure industry's going to follow, but it's interesting. But so here's the other thing too. Bottom line on this article was that there's a lot of inventory stacking up in certain markets in Southern California. But a day earlier, another article comes out that said Southern California housing crunch, just 30 new units for every 100 jobs created. So which one is true?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
What you have to do is
Both.
break down to where geographically these statistics are being drawn from. So Bakersfield, it's sounds like the place to invest. I don't know. A lot of millennials moving there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the bullet train, the governor announced
That's
he
what
wants to fund the bullet train to get Silicon Valley workers to be able to live in the Central Valley.
Wow.
Didn't he say something a month ago about like wanting to stop the funding?
Yeah.
Where-
He had said that, but then I
Yeah.
think they approved it for a certain leg. So maybe
Oh,
it's the Central
right.
Valley.
Yeah,
leg.
no, he shrunk the project.
Yeah.
He's not talking statewide anymore.
Okay.
So they're thinking they can get Silicon Valley to Central Valley, but even that is fraught with controversy.
I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for a big drone to pick me up and drop me off somewhere. That's all I care about. Patty, any last words before we cut
Well,
out? for
you know
today?
what? No question about it. The really, really important for people that are thinking about selling their house to prepare their house for sale. It's not like the old days where you just like make the beds and get a cleaner. You need to like spend some money preparing your house.
Okay.
And Compass is the only company I know of in the country that will pay up front for non-structural things like painting, landscaping, all these
Wow.
things that are really
What?
important.
There must be a limited dollar amount.
No, there isn't.
Really?
I mean, they're okay. So pay up front, but they're going to get reimbursed at closing.
Okay.
So let's be clear about that.
Okay.
But then there needs to be equity in the house.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't remember what it is, but
Okay.
I think it's say 2%.
Okay.
So on a $2 million house, that's $40,000,
That's a
Yeah.
lot.
and you can do a lot with $40,000.
So there must be some kind of guarantee, or you must have that. Like if something doesn't sell, they're not going to just walk away from their money. Maybe they put a lien against the house or
really.
something.
I
Really?
shouldn't be saying that, but Robert Redfin, who started the company,
Yeah.
said when they started this program, they said we're going to lose money sometimes, but
Wow.
all the new listings that we're going to get that we would not have gotten, it's
Yeah.
worth it.
Smart guy. Again, how do people get a hold of you? Patty?
415-722-4842, and it's Patty Cohn, COHN. I'm out of Marin County with Compass. bestmarinagent.com.
Yeah, I like that one. And the reason is because she is. Other people tried to get it, and they go, no, you're not as good as Patty. Only she gets it. All right, here's our thoughts for the day. Again, Kathleen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thoughts for the day. If a problem can be solved, no need to worry about it. If a problem cannot be solved, well, what's the use of worrying?
There you go.
Wise words
one.
there, huh? And to really annoy your Spanish teacher, ask in all seriousness, when is Cinco de Mayo this year?
That's right.
Right, Don? Okay, tune
When's the
in.
4th of July?
That's right, exactly. Who's buried in Grant's tomb? Grant and Mrs. Grant. Okay, that's what I've heard. That's an old joke. Okay, thoughts for the day. No, I already did that one. I'm sorry. Tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. So long. Right on.
So, Kathleen, that was a lot of pressure, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's fun.
Oh, it's so funny. One time I had a private investigator on because it'd be kind of fun to talk
Yeah.
about, right?
Yeah.
And this guy was so nervous, like
Oh,
2
yeah.
weeks before.
Oh my God.
He called me like 3 or 4 times. Like, okay, so Edward, I mean, are you going to be like, do I have to talk about like how fast should I talk or how slow?
Oh my God.
And I,
Yeah.
I would just say,
Jane,
you don't need to be
relax.
honest.
How did it end up?
He was okay. Once he got,
Yeah.
on the air, we started talking. But
And every week
It's
after
always
that,
anticipation.
when you gonna have me on?
Yeah,
When you gonna have me
yeah,
on?
yeah.
I know. It may be like, if he called 3 times a day, I would be like,
Well, it's 3
call
times a
one more
day.
time, you're not coming on.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I mean, it was like
No.
3 times in a week, though.
That's
It was
terrible.
like, Gene, what
Stop
about
it.
just relax?
Right.
It's so funny because, of course, I had to tease him. I said, listen, there's only going to be about 2 or 3 million people listening.
Well, as my brother
Do you
says,
know
when I have a good
what
idea,
your
he'll go,
listenership is?
there is medication for that.
No,
Yeah, exactly.
I wish. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
Mhm.
It's hard because they don't do analysis for weekend shows.
Gotcha.
But Arbitron did do an analysis some years back and found out that the average listener stayed tuned for half an hour,
Mhm.
which is more than 4 times the average.
Wow.
The average listener stays on a show for about 7 or 8 minutes, then channel
Okay.
shifts.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's good. That's good.
I like it.
There are 4 people listening.
That's it.
3 of them were us. We were on for an hour, and the other person was on for a minute. So we thought it was
I've got
like
2
30
followers on
minutes.
Facebook. I'd like you to know.
Right.
No, the way we tell, and I tell this to Patty, to everybody, I said, it's really how well you want to market
Yeah.
it once
Mhm.
you have it. I post it to Facebook myself, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
however you want to throw it out there, to tell all your friends, hey, listen to me
Yeah.
on the show. We're
Yeah.
gonna talk about it.
I've got it on my email signature, as you noticed.
Yes.
Mhm.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah, we-
credibility. It's
I'll
instant
push it out.
credibility that you're the expert, apparently.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of our investors come through the show.
Mhm.
The investors that,
Mhm.
yeah. So we have we have people who call in afterwards and say, hey, how do I?
Oh, yeah, I was wondering about that.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then-
if somebody's going through a horrific divorce and they hear this, they might reach
Yeah.
out.
Yes.
Oh,
You
yeah,
guys?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll, if they can't remember, I've had
Uh-huh.
situations where they didn't write down your information,
Right.
but they'll get in touch with me, and then I can pass it on.
Right.
Not all the time, but if it happens, we will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's financial industry folk mostly listening.
Mostly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It'd be
That's
great
why
if
it's
somebody
called the
said,
best
I
of
want to
investing.
Oh, I
donate.
know.
Yeah,
I know. That'd be.
That's why they call it the best of investing.
Mhm.
Should have mentioned, and of course, it's tax deductible.
Right. I
because
know
of
that
that,
should have been.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know that.
I'm gonna guess
Oh,
people would assume it was.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, yeah. If they have a little bit of money, they should know that.
Well,
Well,
it's a
thanks,
great
you
cause,
guys.
which you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for helping spread
The only one
word.
against it are the judges.
Right. Yeah, I think there's a dartboard at the Civic Center with my picture on it, I'm pretty sure.
You're serious, right, or no?
Well, I'm joking.
But you never know. I mean,
But
you never
no,
know.
they have made it very clear that they're not a fan of mine. And when they gave me an op-ed in the IJ once, one of the sitting judges called Brad Breithaupt and left this vicious voicemail. And he told me 2 years later he kept it. He still had it on 2 years. Just off about why a sitting judge would take him and make a big deal and don't give this woman a platform. And he said,
Do the opposite, like be thankful that you do.
yes, actually,
Okay.
one of my colleagues who spoke at the Judicial Council of California. They meet 8 times a year, and the new judges were there getting sworn in, and one of them from Kern County chased her down in the cafeteria and shook her hand and said, I'm so glad for what you're doing, and please, keep doing what you're doing, and it's really important, and I'm an ally, and it was a brand new judge, so
So good.
there's
Wow,
hope,
that's
right?
great.
that
Yeah,
there
there's a
are
lot
some
of
good
egregious
judges.
stuff that when people hear it, just go, that's a no-brainer that there should be some
Exactly.
oversight over that.
Right,
So
right.
any judge who would push back,
Yeah.
kind of go like, okay, what are you hiding?
Unless they think it's a
Right.
witch hunt or something,
You know what?
Yeah.
Most of my life I've been really naively
Most people
innocent about
trust-
how none of this stuff is real and blah, blah, blah.
It's all,
Oh, I know.
it's all TV. you
But
know.
it's really there. And you know what? One good thing about the Trump administration, they're bringing our skepticism to light.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
Yeah.
because there's so much dirt coming
No,
out.
it's true. And people before Trump didn't believe me when I told them what was happening in the courts.
Really?
And that's been one of the silver linings. Not that I'm a fan of his, but
It's okay. I mean,
people are willing to believe anything now because they've seen so much corruption
Yeah.
that they're like, wow, this is happening in our courts, because they used to just not believe me. And then I go, well,
Wow.
narcissists, they're con men, and they go into court and they spin a great tale and
Right.
believe them. And so people are like, oh, because they understand what a narcissist is now.
Yeah.
'Cause
Right.
they've seen Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know? So it's like,
Remember, we're still
Oh,
recording
you
for
might-
TV, so we want to be
Yes,
very careful
please
about
do.
what we're saying. We're not trying to be political.
Sure.
But,
right. No, I was careful not to.
Yeah.
Of course, it's just
I'll do that.
Marin, so.
I know,
He
Yeah.
knows what
Marin,
everyone's
right.
thinking anyway.
By the way, I think didn't you say like the Marin courts are the worst and then Sonoma's right there too?
Yeah, Marin Sonoma are bad wherever there's money, because
Uh,
you go
you
into
buy your
family
way
court
out.
and you list out your assets, and then they're like cha-ching, because
Yeah.
they know how much they can
Well, that's
leave
why
you
it's like with
for.
probate.
I-
you
The
know,
woman
it's
that
based
works
on a
for me
percentage
spent
of-
$1 million
Yeah.
trying to protect her children, and they reported sexual abuse to the teacher, to the
Yeah.
CPS worker, and she's only got 50-50 custody. So these kids who are being sexually abused have to spend, after $1 million spent, parents refinanced the
home went
house,
bankrupt.
everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
And these poor kids, she's got them like, she teaches them, never be alone with don't let one of your siblings go alone
That's
with your
so
dad,
horrible.
because
Wow.
yeah, and it's happening all over. 58,000 kids every year are being court ordered into abuse. It's not the way it's supposed to be working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
infuriating.
Well, hopefully,
Anyway.
we'll
Yeah.
help get the
Yeah.
word out. I'm gonna give my
thank
wife
you
your
so
card.
much.
and-
Oh, yeah, I would love
Yeah.
to meet her
Yeah.
for coffee and talk
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
All
Let her know you're
right.
right Memorial Day.
You too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Lots of barbecues.
All right. See you.
Bye-bye. We have, oh, good. We only have like 1 minute to go. So,
Hello, Mr. Brown.
hello, Mr. Hahn. So let's see here, still recording.
Now people can see what I look like because I was hiding.
That's right, you're right, yeah. Say
Hello.
say
I'm
hi to the
Al.
camera.
Can we start over? Can I do my little pitch over again?
Sure, do it all over again.
So that'd be great. Well, actually, I've never seen any of the episodes on CMC, so I'll have to take a look.
Yeah, hopefully I did this correct. Hopefully I did this correctly, because with this connection, I know it's correct here, but apparently the guys from CMCM TV helped me figure out you needed this in order to be able to hear on either
In sync with
Somehow,
the
yeah.
video. Okay.
yeah, something like that, because
Interesting.
I couldn't figure this thing out.
And which piece was it that needed?
It was these two. that
Ah,
fit in.
okay.
So we're at 56 minutes now. We are done. We will see you next week,
When do you fly out?
Tuesday.